Welcome to The Intuitive Therapist with Janis R. Cohen, therapist, clairvoyant, empath, and medium. Listen in as she takes a no-nonsense deep dive into real human struggles and how to resolve them. Janis will share channeled information from her spirit guide team, as well as angels and archangels, to help you master your emotional, physical, financial, and spiritual destiny. And now, Janis R. Cohen.
Hey y'all, this is Janis Cohen, the Intuitive Therapist, here on the Intuitive Therapist podcast. Hope y'all had another good week. It is Monday and y'all are listening to another awesome episode. Real happy to be here with you today. I wanted to talk with y'all about a topic that is really, really near and dear to my heart. It's something that I preach a lot about, in all honesty, and I preach about it so much with my clients and in my podcast because I know how important it is to cultivate the process of appreciating challenges that happen in your life. And I know the minute that it's so funny, I just got an image of accepting God or accepting, you know how people say, well, I've been born again or I accepted Jesus. I'm not talking about accepting Jesus. What I'm saying is accepting and taking on and owning the value of the challenges as if you would be opening yourself up to engulfing yourself in a new way of believing or a new faith or a new religion. You know, that's what I want you to think about doing when you think about what I'm about to tell you today, because it really is that. It really is opening up your heart and your mind to a way to look at the tough things that happen in your life in a way that only allows you to feel ultimately better about who you are in your life. So the bottom line is, you know, the title of today's talk is episode is 6 lessons that your biggest life challenges teach you, because they really do have lessons to teach. It really is safe to say that no one likes going through challenges. Nobody does. And if it were up to us, we'd live blissful existences and nothing bad would ever happen, right? But that's not reality. And so it doesn't matter who you are, where you live, what role you have, how famous you are. It doesn't matter how your life is. You can't live in existence without experiencing challenge, difficulty, and pain or struggle. And so the thing is, in order to use these challenges and struggles and pains in a way that could really positively impact your life, you have got to be able to pull out a few things from them, right? And some of these things, when I tell them to you, you're going to feel like, yeah, that's pretty obvious. But I really want you to hear what I have to say, because I want you to use these components to truly shape who you are, to make your happy moments sweeter, and for you to feel ultimately better about yourself. And you know me, I'm all about reducing and eliminating pain and suffering from people. So what are your challenges trying to teach you? So the challenges you face really are fantastic opportunities for growth and self-clarity. So when you go through a rough patch, remember that you're going to come out of the other side, hopefully learning from it. Hopefully. Sometimes we go through things in our lives and they have to happen to us over and over and over again for us to wake up and learn from them. And so my hope is today, as you hear these 6 things, that you're going to really be able to take stock in the awesome person that you are. Okay? So the first thing that challenges teach you is that you learn how to react to adversity. And the way you face a challenge can tell a lot about you. So do you isolate yourself from people? Do you lash out and blame others for your problems? Do you criticize yourself or your circumstances, or do you rise above with your head held high? Do you get defensive? Do you lean into depression? Do you feel hopeless? Or do you feel inspired, motivated, and excited when things don't work out? How you deal with and respond to tough circumstances can reveal a lot about who you really are and can help you discover the person that you want to be. So if you truly want to grow those beautiful parts of you, pay attention to how you respond to life. If you want to eliminate the parts that are yucky, that you don't like, that don't work, and you want to develop new ways of being and increase the quality of your life, look at how you handle diversity. I was watching Real Housewives of Orange County. I'd recorded it. Oh, wait a minute. No, it was on Monday night. I'd recorded it and I was watching it. And Shannon Bedore, I love that show. I love Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Real Housewives of Orange County, and Real Housewives of Potomac. Oh, my goodness. Some of the other ones I can't watch. Anyway, can't do the New York one that drives me nuts. Anyway, so I'm watching Real Housewives of Orange County, and poor Shannon Bedore, I know she has been going through a really, really tough time. But we've seen over and over and over again, and it was coming to a head with her friends, how she is so defensive and so negative about what happens in her life. And her friends have kind of had it, and all they want to do is have her feel better. But she yells and screams and does all sorts of hollering about it. And it's really starting to affect her friendships at the very, very least. So really think about how you react to adversity. The second lesson that challenges teach you is that you're going to learn about how much you can handle. You know, there's this phrase that says life gives you only what you can handle. And, you know, while this platitude may seem trite, it really is true in the sense that adversity shows you how mentally and physically tough you can be when challenges come your way. When life knocks you down, you get back up again and you add new layers of tenacity. And it's true. You know, I don't know how to, it's very hard to put losing a child in that category, because I think that to me is the ultimate pain, truly the ultimate pain. So I don't know that I can put that in a category, but then again, I think about that and I say to myself, you know what? There are unfortunately so many people who have lost children, and it is the most devastating thing to experience, because children aren't supposed to die before their parents at any age. And so you think about, okay, well, how is that supposed to happen? How do you make sense of that? And if there's anything that comes from a painful loss like that, it's to ask yourself a question. What do I need to do to honor the memory of the person I've lost? What would he or she, my daughter or my son, want me to do to honor their memory? Do I need to give back? Do I need to give more to myself? What is it? Do I need to set up a foundation? What do I need to do in their memory? And that, when you start using your challenges, then you can start handling things a little better. Number 3, you'll learn how to grow. What you go through inevitably teaches you things. I mean, right? For those of us who keep making the same mistakes over and over again, like dating the same type of people, for example, challenges kind of reveal if you're ready to make a change for the better or not. So one of the things I say is that patterns keep showing up and showing up and showing up in our lives, so that we will pivot and make a different turn and change our lives. And I think a lot of people feel helpless when they're like, gosh, you keep dating the same guy or same girl. Well, dude or chick, like, you're the common denominator. What is happening that you're drawing in this same kind of person? And what is it that they're trying to reflect to you about you that you need to work on, so that once you get that resolved, you will no longer call in that kind of person. I hear it all the time with the women that I work with. My clients struggling because they keep dating, they call asshole guys, but guys who cheat and lie, or who string them along, or do all these things, and they keep dating the same kind of guy. And so I will say to them honestly and lovingly, sweetie, these people are reflecting back to you what you are failing to take care of within you. Because we know our relationships are a direct reflection of us. Can't ignore that. And there's a saying, you've heard me talk about this before, when you spot it, you got it. So if somebody's treating you poorly, if somebody's, or a number of people have betrayed you, or you're seeing the same pattern, what are you not doing for yourself that you are asking them to do? And then do that for yourself. So really, the definition of insanity, y'all, is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result. So think about that. You can't do the same thing and expect a different outcome. That really is, it's insane and it's stupid, y'all. So quit thinking that. Time to make a shift when patterns show up. The fourth lesson is that you're going to learn how to increase your capacity for empathy. This is huge because I can totally relate to this. And as we go through hard times, we really can gain perspective on what other people might go through and how they might feel as a result, right? So the more challenges we face, the more we're able to feel for others. Like tunes us in because you know you're not the only one that goes through things. Although sometimes it can feel like that because maybe the people that are in your direct vicinity or in your circle haven't experienced what you have. But that doesn't mean that you're the only one on the face of the earth who has gone through that, right? So this lesson, the lesson of increasing your capacity for empathy, helps us to become more sensitive to those people around us, as well as those who struggle, like I said, around the world. People always say, well, if you walked in my shoes, you would totally get it. And there's truth to that. Truth. I'll tell you this. At my age, going to be 50 in May, I have seen along Facebook, I've seen so many of my peers' parents die. And it's like, oh my gosh, this really is the time and the age in our lives when our parents unfortunately are passing away. And I had sympathy for people who lost their parents, but I didn't have the kind of empathy for what the loss felt like because I hadn't gone through it yet until February when my dad passed. And it was then that I developed a new sense of compassion for those people who had lost parents before me. I did not know what they were going through. Now I know. And so I, honest to God, truly, if somebody, a high school friend of mine lost his sister to cancer, thank God I don't know what that's like. And I say that not in slight of him, but thank God, my family, my siblings are, and my in-laws are still healthy and alive. But he lost his sister, one of his best friends, who was his best friend. So I can't begin to imagine what that's like, but I could certainly have sympathy. But really, when we go through shit, you're not the only one that goes through it. So know that because of that, somebody is going to have an awareness that you have. Maybe it's a newfound awareness, but somebody else knows what you're going through, and then you're going to be gifted with that sense of empathy as well. The fifth thing that you're going to learn is how to shift your perspective. This is huge when things happen to you in your life. The way you deal with challenges are going to reveal whether or not you can change your mindset to get yourself out of whatever tough spot you're in. Some of you will sit with pain and despair, wishing things were different. I was just talking with a client today. She, her boyfriend had broken up with her, and she came to me, and we finally got her to a point fairly quickly where she was able to take her power back. She felt good. She had cut cords with him, wasn't communicating, and he started to, I guess, reach out a little bit, and then she started to open herself up more. Meanwhile, cut to maybe a month later, she starts to open her heart up. They become intimate, and he ultimately ends up telling her after a conversation at some point that he does want to get married, just not to her for a number of reasons. So she got devastated, and she couldn't get herself out. So she wouldn't come in. Finally, she did, and we talked about it and got her back on track. Really helped her shift her perspective about how much in charge she is of her life and her emotions. Not only was this a gift that this guy didn't marry her because it wouldn't have worked out, but that she's got to be able to take charge of her life in a different way. And that means shifting her perspective. So some of y'all will sit with the pain and the despair, wishing things were different. That's without a doubt a central piece of the grieving process. Others of y'all will find the positive side of the challenge and look for the mindset, look for the lesson, right? And pull yourself out. I have really aligned myself with doing this. Doesn't mean that I don't spend time or days feeling sad, but I work so hard to not stay in that place for an extended period of time because it robs me of my life, right? So understanding that you can change your mindset really is an essential tool that you can use for challenges that you're going through and the challenges to come. Here's what I know. People who are happier in their life do this. They are able to find the lesson in the pain. They're able to find its purpose so that they can move on. They find the benefit in it. I want you to do that too. The last one, number 6, you're going to learn how truly strong you are, right? Rough patches show us more than anything how strong we really are. No matter what your reaction is, no matter how long it takes for you to learn something, you'll make it through the other side changed. At least that's the ideal. You're going to be changed anyway because before that incident occurred, your life was different. Whether or not you shift your life after the event occurs, even more, that's up to you. But because the incident wasn't present in your life beforehand, your life has changed because of it, right? So the inner strength you gain just by making it through each day is certainly going to show you that you can keep on going whatever challenges life throws your way. And when you realize how strong you truly are, let me tell you all the things. It's like a domino effect. Once you're like, oh my goodness, I look back on my life and I felt like, okay, many instances, I've been in terrible pain in my life, different points in my life, feeling like, how in God's name am I going to get out of this? How? It was despair. I felt despair. I felt grief. I didn't see an end. But then time passed, and whether it's I got help for different things that I needed, or I started plugging myself back into life. And I think that's a huge piece for people. And I was talking about that with my client today, whose ex-boyfriend basically said, yeah, I do want to get married, but not to you. I said, you've been in such despair, you've unplugged, and now you got to plug back in. You have to plug back in, or else things get worse and you go down a rabbit hole that you will not be able to come out of. So I want you to plug back in. And when you do, when you really take stock of how strong you truly are, no matter what has happened to you, if you're still living, then you're strong. You gain self-respect, you gain self-worth, you gain self-confidence. Your boundaries change, and either they become more flexible because you need to bend them, or they become firmer. You allow certain people in your life, and certain people you kick out. Your standards change for yourself and for your life and for the people in your life. When certain things happen, no longer will you allow particular people to treat you a particular way. Absolutely not. And you won't settle for less than what you know is rightly yours divinely. Your goals for yourself are going to develop. They're going to be new and they're going to change because you believe in yourself more and you want more for your life. So if you're able to really think about these 6 lessons, life isn't meant to just be experienced in terms of just the emotions. It's meant to be lived. And that means going out and yes, experiencing life, but also really being able to grow emotionally and psychologically and spiritually from all of the things that your soul needs to make known to you. I hope you enjoyed today's episode about the 6 lessons that life has to teach you. And if you'd like a reading around anything, please give my office a call. Hop over to iTunes, leave a couple of sentences about how you felt, whether it's this episode or the podcast in general. Rate and review my podcast. I would really, really appreciate it. Reach out to me, Janice, at janisrcohen.com. See my website, janisrcohen.com. It'd be my pleasure to serve you. Have a wonderful day, a blessed week, and as always, live intuitively.
Thanks for listening to The Intuitive Therapist with Janis R. Cohen. If you like what you heard, the best compliment you can give us is to share this podcast with a friend and subscribe, rate, and review at iTunes.